Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another new installment of the Forgotten Podcast. My name is, of course, Catman Joe, and I am your co-host, of course, for this episode. I fucked up the intro there, my apologies. How you all doing, though, folks? Welcome back to episode 24 of the Forgotten Podcast. I'm obviously Catman Joe, joined by the man himself, Mr. Mass Cynic. He's over there on my left. Hello, Mr. Mass Cynic.
I'm so going to edit me on your right now.
Yeah, you're going to have to. We're just going to flip around everything right now. Today, we're carrying some knives until you subscribe, so please be sure to subscribe. See, Joseph wasn't prepared. We sat here for like 5 minutes prior just getting our knives ready. Joseph has a sword. I didn't.
Yeah, nice. Really.
I've got this, and Joseph's got a sword, so it's like it's kind of. It ain't about the size, right? It's about what you do with it. You say. That's not necessary. But yeah, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another brand new installment of the Forgotten Podcast. Again, this is episode 24. Joseph, enjoy your coffee. I've been waiting for him to take a sip the entire time. Today we're going to be talking about YouTube, actually, funny enough, guys. This is going to be a bit more of a chilled episode. This is our first actually, I guess, proper green rated episode, since we've done other episodes that we consider green rated episodes, but this is our first proper green rated episode. For those of you watching who don't already know what a green rated episode is, basically that is an episode where we don't interview anybody, or if we do, they've got under 500 subscribers. Obviously today it's just us two. We're not going to be interviewing anybody, and we're going to be talking about a subject specifically, and that subject is about YouTube and the removal of the dislikes, obviously, from the entire platform. I guess that's where we want to begin, right?
It's been a while since we've had a proper YouTube change like this,
yeah,
the whole layout of things. Like, I know they've had those small changes in between where they've been doing things to, like, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but when you're watching it on your phone and you turn it sideways, the chat will come up on the right.
Yeah, it's like small micro changes they made. They've made micro changes. It's like the comment section. You remember, like, they've changed the comment section now. So like, what's it called? A few times. Yeah, they've changed it a few times. So now when you're on your mobile, for example, the comment section doesn't work the way it used to, which isn't bad. I mean, I'd say, but it's kind of odd, honestly.
It's terrible. It's a downgrade, and Susan, I'm on my way.
Oh my god, yeah, Susan, yeah, he's on his way with the sword. I mean, also, I guess we haven't really had a minute to obviously introduce this, because that whole intro right there was a bit more of a meme. Like, we genuinely were going to try and do it properly, but we were like, I'm just trying to make him laugh, and he's trying to make me laugh. We're trying to wield our beautiful weapons.
It's just the way. Don't fucking ever word it like that.
Wield our beautiful weapons, you're saying. Sorry.
Nah, it's just the way you go, oh, it's a bit of a meme. I'm like, yep.
It was a bit of a meme, but yeah, I mean, but we got to obviously address something else. Joseph has face cam. Hey, if you're watching right now on YouTube, of course you can see face cam. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, obviously you probably can't. But if you guys check YouTube, you can see that Joseph has got his face cam on. Finally, you can see him in all his majestic glory right there, and also some great little Easter eggs behind him on the shelf. If y'all can try and pinpoint what those are, it's top tier.
I also want to clarify, those that are gonna be like, oh, the background is a stable thing. It's not. I'm moving at some point, so this is very temporary. Hence why it looks crap. But yeah,
it looks pretty good.
It looks kind of satanic on the bottom, a little bit more lighthearted on the top.
I mean, you say lighthearted, but is that a pillow that says die?
Yes, it's a Reaper pillow from Overwatch. It's just.
Oh, okay, there you go. And then there's the Curious Apple pillow as well, of course.
The original one.
Lovely, so yep, lovely nostalgia. Yep, lovely nostalgia. I can't lie. But yeah, so basically, if anybody hasn't already heard about the YouTube stuff, I really want to dive deep into this. If anybody hasn't already heard about what's happening, YouTube's new changes of their terms of service and how the platform works is it's kind of a bit of an unnecessary one, but it's also quite a good one. Now, this is the thing. What we're going to speak about today is very kind of opinionated. If you have an opinion on it, let us know, obviously, in the comment section or wherever you can. But basically, they're removing dislikes entirely. Now, that's a bit of a bold statement. Dislikes are still going to be there. You can still dislike someone's content, but if you do, you can't see it. Yeah, it's one of those things where they're removing the dislike button, I guess counter, that's what you could say. Like, they're not really removing dislikes, they're removing the dislike button counter being public. So basically, when you like, I don't know if by the time this podcast comes out, the dislike feature will be fully implemented, but if it is, you'll see when, check out this episode. Basically, the way it works is people can drop a like and it'll show you like, okay, you got 10 likes, 20 likes, 100 likes, 1,000, whatever. But on the dislikes, where it used to show you got 10 likes, 20 likes, etc., it will not say anything at all. It will just say dislike. Like, that's all. It will not tell you the exact number of people that disliked or why they disliked or anything like that.
Who owns the video can see the dislike.
Yeah. That's only the content creator, like the actual, of course, owns the content, can see the amount of dislikes that he or she is actually going. And the way that they see that is by going onto their YouTube studio, and then they can obviously from there see and perceive it. Now, this is a thing since YouTube kind of announced this big change, and this is something that's kind of behind the scenes been happening for a little while. Like they've been talking about this for a little while, wanting to remove the dislike button, and they've had their reasons for doing that, and it's understandable, but there's also some downsides to it. Again, there's some positives and some downsides and some negatives, and I guess I kind of want to jump into there. I guess I want to speak about.
There is no negatives. That's the whole idea. That they're getting rid of them completely.
Well, yeah, inherently, yeah. If we're quoting it like that, there's no negatives literally, right? But like that's kind of the problem, because a lot of people made the point that, oh well, without the dislike counter, you can't tell if a video is scamming or anything like that. Because like, for example, I think all of us know, right, on YouTube, and Joseph, I'm sure you know as well, like there's always people that upload spam or scam videos where it's like things like, oh, click this link to check something like that.
No way of being like directly flagged unless you're reporting them. It's like a very common thing I see is, especially within lots of gaming communities like Overwatch, Apex, that sort of thing. There's a lot. I'm not sure if you've looked, but when you go to like most recent uploads and scroll down, you always get like a good like 50 or so videos saying like free hack download and
yeah, it's like Minecraft.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's like with everything. No, I remember when I was a kid, I actually fell for it when I was a kid. I'm sure there's probably other people listening that have, right? I'm kind of gullible for admitting this. But, so back in the day, like when I was a kid, I couldn't afford Xbox Live Gold, right? And so what you would do is you would search on YouTube, free Xbox Live, gift cards or whatever. Like, and nobody gives away anything for free. Like, there's nobody who does that, right? Unless they're like a friend or family member, different story. But like when it comes down to YouTube, that's not going to happen. But there used to be these like constant videos always on the platform. There probably is still some right now, which was like gift card generator. Yeah, it was like, no, but it wasn't even giveaway. It was like gift card generator. Right,
no, I know,
and you click on the link. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. And you would click on these links. So, like in these videos, and you click on the links, you go answer a bunch of questions. It was complete scams. Like that was all it was. But the good thing about having the dislike counter was it could actually tell you, hey, like this is a scam. Because for us as content creators, we can remove your comments if you say like, oh, this is a scam, this is terrible, whatever. But we can't remove your dislikes. Like we can't stop that from happening. We can turn it off to an extent, but that also turns off likes, and that right there flags, or should give you a bit of a red flag as to what's happening, if that makes sense.
There's no like, irreversible negative feedback towards these people anymore. Anything that you do to kind of flag a video now can basically be stripped away from you anyway. So it's kind of like there's a lot more potential for false advertising, false, just
scamming, anything.
Negative stuff. Yeah, like some guy absolutely railing an elephant is not something you want to see, but your dislike will never be seen again.
But it's the biggest issue with it is like, again, these scammers that make these videos on YouTube, like click this link or do this or do that, or like even for tutorials, I think the easiest and more probably world known kind of like format is tutorials. Like whenever I know for myself personally, I'm sure you've done the same, Joseph, whenever I'm looking up a tutorial, whether it be for a video game or for something else, if I look up the tutorial, the first thing that I normally look at is, for one, the dislikes, and for two, the comments, right? Now, the second part, comments can be deleted. So if somebody says this is a scam or a hack or whatever, you cannot always rely on that because it can be deleted.
Can be manipulated. So the problem with this is the fact that the likes and dislikes now can be manipulated where they couldn't before. It's now kind of given them that direction where it's like, well, it doesn't really
it's like free. Yeah, you there's really like that's it. It's free reign. Now, this is a negatives to it, right? Those are like the big negatives, but there is also some positives, and I understand YouTube's point for doing so. One of the biggest positives is the factor that it stops content creators from being harassed, and I think that's something that is really important. I know I personally dealt with harassment from people making dozens of bot accounts to dislike my streams or my content or whatever, and it sucks, man. It really does genuinely suck.
If anyone's been on the platform long enough, they've encountered like a dislike bot.
Definitely.
A while ago, and I think this is back when like the gnome run was going on, but they dislike bombed us a lot.
They did. That's right.
I got dislike bombed a lot, and it's like not now, obviously, and not anyone who's like a more recent creator.
Yeah.
But people back then, and especially younger people who are making videos, people will be demoralized by it.
Mm-hmm. So it's that's the point.
You can't get that anymore.
No, that's the thing. It's like that was a good side of it. It's the factor that when a lot of people don't understand that when you're a content creator, if you see your video or your stream or whatever it is has a bunch of dislikes, it can often really like demotivate you heavily to want to make more content because nobody likes getting hate. But in the same vein, if you cannot take the hate and the criticism that comes with being a content creator, you shouldn't be one because you're gonna get it regardless, right? Like I get hate comments all the time. And I'm sure Joseph's had hate. I know Joseph's had hate comments and dislikes and stuff like that.
Where are you quoting this from?
Remember the Apex videos? Remember the Apex videos? What was it?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I kind of
right off the bat. Yeah, no, but Joseph. Well, yeah, you want to tell them because you done like the Apex videos specifically.
Okay, so
pulled a lot of people in.
This is something I want to speak about in another episode anyway, but I'll briefly go over it now. But there was, like in every game, there's like a very niche area within glitch hunting. Where, you know, obviously if it's a glitch, it's an irregular format within a working system. So if you have something that is what people are looking for, which is a glitch in a system, you can exploit it and lie about it and say like, hey, this is it. Even if there's like an inkling of truth, you can still kind of say things that will make it look more realistic. For example, not that they weren't completely wrong. There were a few that were very genuine. But there are videos such as bot lobby glitch videos, which is very common in the Battle Royale genre series, where people wouldn't want to be put up with skill-based matchmaking. So they wouldn't want to play with people that are like their skill because they're like top of the top and they don't want to constantly be sweating their arse off. They want to have some sort of enjoyment when it comes to playing the game. So what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, to do this, you know, to get in easy lobbies, you just got to go left, back, up, down, do like some fucking Konami code shit, and it works. People eat that stuff up, people watch that, and I was friends with a few people at the time. I'm not going to say who they were because there are people I want to get on the podcast to talk about this sort of thing, but there are people like that I worked with that made us make that sort of content because it just worked. Because you know, the biggest video I've ever uploaded was one of those videos, and it was one of the ones that was slightly correct. It did work, but not as well as I, you know, obviously promoted it to be, because that's just not what you do. You don't be incredibly realistic online, and that got 25,000 views like overnight. So that was great, and obviously you can imagine the serotonin I got from that. So I was like, okay, I'll do this again. Like many other people did, thousands of people have done it. And now they pretty much don't work because they've just been completely like fixed. The only thing you can really do to lower your like match SBMM is to, you know, have a bad KD and play with bad players by default because you suck at the game. Which is like, you know, it's just one of those exploit things, and obviously I got a lot of hate for it. Understandably, I didn't mind. It's, you know.
Well, wasn't it people? It's like what people do for like Minecraft duplication glitches. And I'm sure it's the same kind of thing. It's like people blame you for making the video. Yeah, people blame you for making a video. Like, I used to have people that comment going, oh, you're horrible. Like, oh, you're making people want to cheat. You're teaching people to cheat in the game. It's like, it's a block game. You don't have to. It doesn't ruin your experience. You don't have to do this. It's just that others are that you're getting butthurt. Oh, but it ruins the aspect and the fun of the game. But it's like other people are going to do it.
Example of this is that I think you'll love.
What?
Do you remember my first video that hit 1K?
Your first? With Borderlands. Was it Borderlands?
Yes.
Borderlands 3, we done, yeah.
BS video. It was.
We made that.
This is great. It was all in good fun. It was never like a thing to be like, hey. Although I absolutely hate this species, so fuck you all anyway. But like, genuinely, overall, it was just a big gag. Like, we had this whole concept where Joe's always done like how to upgrade weapons and change the rarity of stuff within Borderlands. I think you've done some stuff on that.
Well, duplication glitches mainly, yeah.
Yeah, no. Hey, I want to do that, but I don't want to do that. So Joe has lots of leftover stuff from his duplication, like of really crappy guns that you don't need. So we just put them in a pile, and they were all like green and grey rarity weapons. Obviously, if you've played any game, the rarity system usually goes like green, grey,
purple, orange is like purple, orange is at the top, orange, and yeah. So, and when you pause the game, a blue tint will go over the screen, and it was like the menu where it was saying like, "Hey, do you want to leave the game?" You know, like when you pause the game. So I thought it'd be funny to make a video saying like, "Oh, you can change the rarity of these grey and fucking grey and green weapons." And I made it like a big elaborate scheme, walked over to this big pile of grey and green weapons, paused it, and then obviously the blue tint comes up, it's saying and
like,
that's it,
the game.
yeah.
And I'm like, yo, look, they're all blue rarity now. And I even said in the video, unfortunately this doesn't last forever. If you come out of the pause menu, they do return back to their original state.
So it was a proper troll. It was a proper troll. Like that video, it was a top tier video, I can't lie, like it was funny, right? But it was just, we were playing Borderlands 3 at the time, and I was like, oh, this would be a good idea, and Joseph was like, oh, on board as well. So Joseph done it, and like it was brilliant. Like it was funny, right? But like inherently people are going to comment and be like, oh, you suck, this is terrible, this is fake, you're saying, when in reality
funny,
technically
you
it
get
isn't.
the odd few people that don't watch the video, and they're like,
yeah,
this is great, bro, and I'm
oh
like,
my god,
my arse off.
thank
like,
you.
This is crazy.
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's like they've not even watched it, they've just clicked on it, and then before they've even watched the content, they're like, yo, this is amazing, thank you so much, you're the messiah. It's like, okay, yeah, you haven't seen the BS part of it, but okay, whatever, I'll let you wait. But this is a thing with the dislikes like being removed. You know, with dislikes being removed though, you can't tell if the video is fake. That's the problem.
I can get
right?
away with this stuff now.
You can. Honestly, jokes aside though, like you can. That's the thing. With dislikes not being public, what other form of method can people tell you that it's fake? Oh, but they can go in the comments section, but we can blacklist or remove the words that are like, oh, fake, scams, whatever. So if content creators that are scamming people, we're not saying we are, obviously, of course, we're respectable individuals and good gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? But if we were, you know, saying it would be incredibly easy now because of the factor that these things are no longer there. The dislikes were the only public metric that would basically tell you that, oh, hey, this video right here is actually not trustworthy, or it is. And you know, before the actual removing dislike thing fully happened, there was a way to remove dislikes, which was turning off ratings for a video. We've done it with some of the older podcast episodes. The reason why though that you know that wasn't the same though is because when you removed ratings, it removed both the likes and the dislikes, which immediately was a red flag. If you're watching a tutorial or you know, a glitch or whatever, and you see that they've disabled ratings and even the comment section totally turned it off or removed certain comments, only comments that are there are positive, it's immediately it's immediately it's a huge red flag. Disabled ratings and disabled comment sections are like the two biggest red flags you can get when you look at a tutorial or a video. That right away should immediately flag you and go that something isn't right here. But now they don't even have to do that. So now what is your way of flagging this at like fake? Oh, they don't have dislikes. Nobody has dislikes. Oh, they've got only positive comments. Well, maybe it works. When in reality, it probably doesn't. You know, it's like, it's actually genuinely terrible. And it's something that honestly, you've got to be careful for. And it's concerning that YouTube have done this. And this is where it kind of comes into this kind of conflict of interest, because there's just like, and I agree with both. There's just like one side that are like, oh, this is the dumbest thing YouTube could have done, because obviously now scammers can get away with doing scams. It's harder to tell if watching a tutorial is worth watching it. You're going to end up wasting more time. More people are going to get scammed and go get more, you know, stressed out, etc. All that kind of stuff. And then on the other end, there's the positive side, which is, oh, but it's good because it stops people from bullying other people, or from, you know, I guess harassing them, or mass disliking them, or botting them, whatever, or demotivating them because of that. But then again, there's that middle ground where you can still, the content creator, see the dislikes. Even if the others can't see it, you can still see it. So if it's just seeing the dislikes that demotivates you, you're not going to be able to stop seeing the dislikes. So it doesn't change that at all.
You can't demotivate or like hinder a creator now. It's just really indirect, or it's too direct, sorry, because obviously only they can see it.
Yeah.
Obviously they're going to care of the majority, and obviously if the majority can't see it, they won't care. It's one of those things as well where it's like, I've got a bit of a conflicting opinion on it. I don't think it's a majority bad thing, because I feel like at the end of the day, if something is that bad and it's getting enough traction, then it will get taken down. Things that go kind of somewhat unnoticed that are terrible, yeah, they're still bad, but like if no one's seen them, it's like, you know. And also channels can get, what do you call it? They can get like shadow banned, can't they? Like where you just don't come up in the algorithm and stuff.
Yeah, shadows can get shadow banned.
YouTubers that I watch a shadow ban, like Count Dankula and stuff like that.
I see, this was the thing, right? I wanted to tell y'all, right? So this is what I read on Twitter. I've just found it right here. So Philip DeFranco tweeted this out on the 10th of November, and this was breaking, breaking news, obviously breaking. YouTube will begin hiding dislikes on videos. The dislikes button will still be there and content and creators will still be able to see how many people have hit it, but the number will not be viewable to the public, right? Now this content creator, and this is what I saw, and it kind of was like so aggressive towards the guy. I'm going to read this out what he said, right? And you'll see what happens, and it's just so damn cruel. And this was the example I wanted to give, right? So this guy called or I think it's Aurora. I think that's how he says his name. It's a really weird name. He put it's a weird name. He's a YouTuber though. He's only got a couple hundred subs, or 600, let's say. He tweeted out by saying, "It's actually a big problem, especially for smaller creators like me. This is just one example, lol. Like, what did I do to y'all, right?" And basically, he showed a screenshot of his latest video from a month ago, which was like his first time playing Call of Duty Vanguard, and he had 21 likes and 22 dislikes. And the issue with that is people are mass disliking, and it's like, okay, that sucks. But also, the biggest issue beyond all that is the fact that they're not giving feedback. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, this is something that every content creator can agree with. If you dislike a video, that is totally okay. That's not an issue. Dislike the video if you dislike it, but give us some sort of feedback.
It's so much more valuable than a negative or a dislike. It's like,
a dislike means nothing. A dislike legitimately tells us nothing. If you dislike this podcast or something else that we do or whatever, that doesn't tell either myself or Joseph, oh, hey, you guys are doing something wrong. We just don't. It tells us maybe we're doing something wrong, or that you dislike something.
Screaming at us saying, I don't like this. But a comment is, I don't like this because. And that's
it allows us people to fix things, right? And that's why getting rid of dislikes hopefully can maybe motivate people, or getting rid of the dislike button being public can hopefully maybe motivate people to some extent, and I say some very openly, but to some extent to maybe try and actually be a little bit more constructive and give some more actual constructive feedback to the creator as to why they were actually initially going to dislike, or why they do dislike the content. But the problem is, that's not a guarantee. People, if they don't like the content, might just dislike and they're just going to leave. So removing dislikes doesn't really fix that either. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a kind of a bit of an issue. And going on from there, this guy, right? So after that tweet, the guy the next day tweeted out saying, "My final reply to y'all. This just proves my point that people will just start piling on to just to be bullies. All these dislikes came from this thread. Good thing I can hide my dislikes now." The guy ended up gaining. He got 25 likes in the video. It was at 21 originally and 22 dislikes. Now he had 34 dislikes, and more people were just hating on him because they could hate on him. And that's kind of the mob mentality.
Sorry to cut you off, but I assume just quickly. I assume the dislikes still affect the video's performance in the algorithm, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, entirely they do, but not in a negative way. Dislikes never actually impacted videos negative way. It's interaction. Yeah. So that was kind of like the good thing to, you know, disliking videos. And there's a few comments here that I'll read in a second that were related to that, which was like, if people dislike and you don't like that, that's okay, but they're giving you interaction. Comments, likes, dislikes. Those three things are incredibly important. That's interaction. They're interacting with the video and the content, which in turn is better than them just viewing the content. That tells YouTube that they've really actually not only viewed the content and watched it, but they've watched it to the point where they've actually felt the need to maybe interact with it. Doesn't matter if it's positive or it's negative. YouTube just doesn't read that. That's not how this platform works. So it's one of those things. But going down here, I'm just trying to look right now for some some like other things right here down here, like some other comments. Joseph's got cars racing into his house right now.
I'll be honest, this never happens, but there's currently some guy going up and down the street next to me. He thinks he's the shit.
Oh, what? Is he street racing?
Yeah, kind of. Which I don't know why, because I live in a village in the middle of like fuck off nowhere, but you know.
Right, well, let me read this. I want to hear your opinion, Joseph, and I want to hear, obviously, the viewers' opinions, of course, as well. So this guy called Johnny P, obviously a YouTuber as well, he tweeted out by saying this, right, in response to Philip DeFranco's tweet saying that YouTube are removing dislikes. He tweeted out by saying, "Without any way to provide the creator with context as to what was disliked, the thumbs down button is a troll mechanic and not helpful at all. What did you dislike, question mark? The audio, the video, content, what the creator was wearing, their gender, not a very helpful metric to begin with." I don't know. I think I kind of agree with them. People were really giving them hate, by the way, for this tweet. But that's the thing. I wouldn't go as far as to say the dislike was a troll mechanic, but it was definitely used as that sometimes as well. It depends on what the context was. I don't know. What do you feel about it?
A troll mechanic.
It's a bit of a strong way of putting it, I'd say.
It's very bland. It's very like it's not an indirect. It's like what I said earlier. It's not like a direct enough reason to dislike something. Be like, oh, I dislike this. It's like, why? There should be, in my opinion, a like and a dislike button, but you click it, and to submit a like or a dislike, you have to write in a little box saying why.
Wait, no, continue, because I really like this. We're going to talk about this in a second, actually, funny enough.
Because, okay, there is a good thing and a bad thing with this. One, it might deter people from liking the video overall because they don't want to write a bloody essay. But on top of that, that feedback is valuable. And then maybe what people could do, like maybe have it as a creator thing, have it on the community tab, have it on like, I don't know, maybe make it in the not description or the description, but the comments as well. But maybe what you could do as the creator, you could reply to these feedback bits, and there could be a feedback panel next to the comments.
Right.
So you've got comments and feedback. So it's like, it just makes more sense. But I'll be honest, I don't feel like it's something ever YouTube would do.
And people would use
like too much in their interest.
And I don't think people would use it either.
The average person who isn't a content creator will be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm watching stuff because it makes me happy. That's
exactly it. Yeah, exactly. You're hitting the nail on the head. And this is exactly how I feel. Now, this is why I'm very interested in what you just said, because this Johnny P guy said this. And I'd love to hear again everybody's opinions, including yours. All right. Let me see. So after this tweet, like this tweet himself, he only had 17 likes, but people replying to him, like this guy got hate. The next person that replied called Sexy Satan, I love the name. They got 406 likes on their tweet, right? They replied by saying, dislikes are super useful for scam/shitty tutorial videos so that you can immediately see them and not waste your time with it. And that's 100% true, right? Like I think everybody would agree, 100% true. the guy Johnny P replied back saying, my wife runs a channel. The video was posted for 5 seconds. It already has a thumbs down. Doesn't happen often, but there's no way you know what. There's no way to know, or no way you know you do not like what do not like that within the first 5 seconds posted, or the first 5 seconds, excuse me, or the first seconds posted without even watching the troll button. This is his point. He's trying to continuously raise a troll button, and I do get that. People can, like, as soon as you release a video, if they dislike you, they'll just go dislike it. Right, and it's like that, in that sense, as a troll mechanic.
Of it, because people are that simple-minded to the point where they're like, I don't like you, so your stuff is shit. No, it's exactly, that's it. And someone else responded here. This was this other person. They put, but your wife would still be able to see the dislike, right? So if the initial issue is that she doesn't like seeing it, well, she's still going to be able to see it. Maybe it's just not publicly, of course, obviously to the public, but she can still see it privately. He replied back by saying, but what did they not like about it, question mark? The thumbnail, audio, video, what did they not like? That is an important things to know, or that is an important things to know. You put some really weird grammar here. If you want to make changes and improve. When you get a bad grade in school, isn't it nice to know why, question mark, lol? And then the person replied back by saying, every video that has some views will have dislikes. It could be the most innocent video, or the most innocent videos, but that's just how it's on, how it is on YouTube. If you're looking for constructive criticism, not everyone who dislikes the video will leave a comment. Right, and it's one of those things, like, it's 100% correct. Like, it's not everybody who's going to dislike really has the time or wants to have to leave a comment as to why they dislike the content. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to have to read, like, or leave essays whenever they dislike something? If I dislike it, I want to dislike and leave. But it would be more appreciated getting more constructive feedback. It also depends on the context of the video as well, because a dislike can't always be a negative thing. You've got people who ask for dislikes for the jokes of it, and you've also got, and this is a good example, the episode that we did on Tiki. People might dislike that not because it was a bad episode, but because they didn't like the concept of having Tiki on the podcast. Because I know a few people didn't like it, and they were like, oh, I'm going to dislike it because it's Tiki, you know? And they don't like what he did or stand it for. So it's not really them saying that, but that's even more evidence on why there should be some sort of review system, because then they could say that, be like, oh, I disliked it because of the guest.
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing as a whole was crap, you know?
Exactly, and that's it. It's that because, and then we can get some more feedback and we can work on there and maybe update things. But just a general dislike is a little bit too bland, and that's what this person's saying, and these other people are saying. It's kind of a really conflict of interest. That's why I'm reading this out, and I normally wouldn't do this, but it's quite interesting. So he put in response to somebody said, you do know most people dislike it and comment why, right? Question mark. Which I disagree with. Most people that dislike
Incorrect.
Don't comment why.
No
100% not happening.
Just go, oh, this is crap, and then fuck off. Because
yeah,
if
but
they really believe that they don't like it, they're not going to say, like, oh, this is why. Because unfortunately, people do this because, man, I've got an insane hate for this species. But still,
that's what it is.
They're too simple-minded.
That's it. But so this person was trying to make the point that you do know that most people dislike it and comment why, right? Which again I disagree with. And even if they don't say why, the fact that it's there is normally proof itself. You normally play Minecraft but start playing COD, question mark. Well, some people don't like the new content. This was their example. The guy responded back by saying, nope, I monitor the comments on the channel and there are rarely any negative comments. Even with 3 or 4 thumbs down, they don't take the time. Getting 16k views and only a handful of comments, good or bad, but lots of thumbs up, people don't take the time to leave comments. Some other guy responds back by saying, thumbs down don't mean shit. If you were getting like 10k likes or 10k dislikes to 1k likes, then sure, but 3 or 4 always happen. Stop being butthurt over a speed bump. And this is where the guy responds back, and it's kind of related to what you were saying, Joseph, and this is why I really want to kind of acknowledge this, right? So he put, it's not about feelings, lol, not being butthurt. I put a video out, dislikes, wouldn't it be nice to know why, question mark? People don't leave comments. 100k views with 250 comments, if lucky, and most are trash. Thumbs down, click, then presented with candid responses. That's what he's saying his idea was. Perhaps an other option in the drop down where they can leave meaningful comments. And this is exactly what you said, Joseph. It's an interesting concept where it'd be like, okay, you dislike it, but why? You don't have to maybe type an entire sentence, but maybe there's like a, what's the word? Like, you ever like try to leave, like, say Amazon, like Amazon Prime, you try and leave it and they give you like maybe a couple options, like you can put out other and type in your full reason, or they give you like a couple like kind of generic things like the audio is bad, or like, no, they don't tell you that, but you know what I mean? Like, imagine having something like that.
Like reviews that are like saying this is bad but don't specify. It's the same thing.
Yeah. But it's like when you leave us at Amazon Prime, they say like, why are you leaving? Is it because, you know, do you just not like it anymore? You're not interested, found something better? You know what I mean? Like, they do stuff like that. And it's kind of candid responses. It gives you a slight bit more of an example as to what they did dislike, which is really important, right? But you know, again, it's not exactly necessary for everybody. And he obviously put what's it, sorry, no means they liked it. Let me see, and sorry, like someone else here said, and it was an interesting kind of point. They said, and it was, if that's the case where thumbs down just means that they, you know, hate it or whatever, anything like that, right? He put the thumbs up is useless as well, right? Because if the thumbs down is useless, so is the thumbs up apparently. And I kind of disagree with that as well. I don't know about you, Joseph, because it's
I agree and
no.
disagree. Like, the thing is, right, I played devil's advocate with myself on the daily. But the idea is, like, I agree and disagree. I disagree because it's like, well, yeah, but positive feedback is more simplistic. You can be like, oh, I like this. But at the same time, you can just be like, oh, I don't like this. But because you benefit from negative feedback, you don't really always benefit from positive feedback.
No.
It's really hard to find where I stand in this conversation, because it's like, I kind of like the idea of having no dislikes, but at the same time, I can't really just say that without being like acknowledging the fact that yes, I think positive reviews would also be quite like a redundant thing if there's a dislike button. But I feel like what YouTube has done in the past that may have worked, but obviously they changed it clearly because it wasn't as effective. But do you remember when it had a 5-star system?
I do. Yeah, it had like a rating system, 5 stars, 1 star being obviously terrible, 5 being best. That would be interesting. People have actually said to bring that back, and I doubt they'd ever do that because that was a long time ago. But that was an interesting premise. It was quite basic, but it was interesting enough. But no, like this is kind of the issue with me as well. And I'm sure hopefully some of the viewers listening, it's like, where do you stand with this? It's either you can't. I'm kind of in the middle because it's like I like both aspects. I do agree with both aspects. You know, the idea that dislikes should be there because obviously it helps you kind of weed out, you know, terrible tutorials or videos. It helps you save time and, you know, not waste time or get scammed, you know, potentially. And then obviously, of course, the other side, which is but it's used as to an extent, and I hate using this because I don't think troll mechanic is the best word for it, but it is used by some people as a way of being able to kind of, I guess, bring hate towards you, especially if they can't get it in the comment section. So it's kind of a hard place to stand on.
Yeah, no, my biggest like conflict with it as well is the idea of, hypothetically, if there was a review system, right, whose opinion becomes the most valuable, the more valid one? Because it becomes that point where there's now that division between people that watch videos, people that make videos, people that review videos. It gets to the point where it's like, who becomes the most valuable thing between? Because that's the thing about the likes and dislikes button, right? If you liked a video and some guy with 2 million subscribers liked a video, that like is still just as valuable as the other like.
Yeah.
But it will then get to that point where there will be an injustice in what happens when it comes to reviewing content, because people would see the sub count, they would see your take on things, they would disagree with you, it might spark a debate, and then there's the polar opposite of this, where no one will comment on it because they just simply don't care enough. They
don't have the time, they don't care, and they don't want to. And I think that's kind of like the issue with it. It's like, you can't force people to comment. If you try and do that, they're just not going to want to watch at all. That's going to actually deter people from wanting to be a part of your content, or just deter them from wanting to leave ratings. Like, if you're forced to leave a rating, if you leave a rating, you're forced to leave a comment as to what or why. Like, say you want to leave a like, you have to leave a reason why you liked it. If you want to leave a dislike, you have to leave a reason why you dislike. I wouldn't give it a rating. I just would watch and just that would be it, or I wouldn't rate it at all. And that's kind of like an issue, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that could be an issue genuinely for future, like, I guess for in the future, because it's the fact that it's a genuine problem.
That reminded me of why, I want to word this correctly, why getting rid of it, the dislike button, is technically a benefit. Okay, so obviously liking and disliking a video as of right now is something that really doesn't do anything, and it kind of benefits the creator regardless because it pushes them up in the algorithm.
Yeah, because of interaction. Yeah.
Now, the good thing is you can either like it and boost its algorithm, or you could do nothing, not boosting the algorithm. That's a benefit, because if you dislike something, it would still boost it up. If you didn't like something, you wouldn't want to help it.
I feel like it's kind of a deadlock, because it's like, if you like it, you like it and that's it, and then boost it of the algorithm, like you said, right? Because interaction. But if you don't like it, just don't dislike it, whatever, or dislike it, whatever. But then if you really dislike it, you can't just dislike. You have to actually go to the comments and say, hey, this is why I really fucking hated this video. Like, you guys could have done better. This was trash. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, you have to give more of a reason if you really want to, in that extent. But that's the thing. It's, will people do that? It's up for debate. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I mean, if we're looking at the majority of people already, it's not going to happen. So, I mean, just before I stop reading all this, right? This guy, Fourth Kind, replied by saying, in that case, the thumbs up is useless as well. The guy, Johnny P, replied back by saying, no, that means that they liked it. That's good to know. With that, then customize the thumbs up with a poll and then, with some simple selections as to what was liked. And this is what we're saying right here. I doubt people are going to use that as a metric. People aren't going to really participate in that. You know, most people won't leave a comment, but a quick poll could provide some feedback, good or bad. And it kind of starts to like, now we're just talking about what ifs. Like if it's like, oh, we add a poll, add a automatic selection area, like we can choose what you disliked from a little area or choose other and specify, like it just it's a lot.
Already a feature like this.
Is there?
Yes, you know when it comes up like, is the video above a good recommendation, has 5 stars?
Oh,
and then you
yeah, that's for recommend.
So it's not something they can't do.
No, I think but that's a simplistic way of doing it, and that would be okay. I think that wouldn't be an issue. If like, did you enjoy this video? Give it a rating 1 to 5. Maybe it could be like another kind of form of rating, right? Like, so you can watch the video and give it a like or a dislike, and then you can get a little thing presenting you saying, hey, what would you rate this video if you had to out of 5 stars? You know, in the middle, at the end, the very bottom, whatever, etc. It'd be an interesting way of putting it. But yeah, that's what he put. You know, you could give them a quick poll, and then he put without knowing the context of why they liked is the like button. Why they liked it, the like button is useless, because if they're using his own logic against him, because if the dislikes button useless because you don't know why they disliked it, then the like button kind of is useless as well because you don't know why they exactly liked it. But that's the kind of the counter to that. You don't need to know why everybody exactly liked it. When it comes into disliking is a lot more of a big thing, because you like something, right, great, I'll keep making more of it. Right, but you dislike something. Okay, well, hold on a second. What did you dislike? That's the issue. You need to know. And he just put helpful.
I was going to say that it made me think there is no real reason to why we should have a like button, but that just completely disproved my point. Which is great. So, you know, I agree with you. I feel like the like button is infinitely more valuable in the sense that if you use it, or less valuable, depends on how you look at it. Less valuable in the sense that if you use it, it's overall, this is all really good. A dislike is a specific thing that you don't like. I think that's more valuable, but also less valuable. It just depends on how you stand. It's very like if and but like a debate. So it's very much like, and also like I said, it depends where you stand. It's if you're a creator, a viewer. It's such a weird little.
It's a weird place to be in, because this is why we really want to bring this up in the podcast, because this relates to 2 of our previous episodes. We've done episode 16 with obviously myself and Joseph and Zebrus, which was changes to YouTube's terms of service when they were acknowledging that they were making it so the content creators that even didn't have monetization would still be getting their videos monetized, and YouTube of course would be banking all the money from that, which was horrible and terrible, and I don't agree with still. But we made a video on that was for episode 16. And way back on episode 4, actually me and Joseph and Bradley are Septic Spud, we made the Copa episode, which is talking about Copa before that came into effect with YouTube. And this is almost like our trilogy episode. We're now obviously back with just us 2 this time, of course, as opposed to Brad or Travis, and we're talking about again YouTube and obviously them removing the dislike. And I gotta be honest, I don't know, it's a hard place to stand. Before we end this podcast, I do want to come to some sort of judgment on my own and like be able to say like, this is what I think, this is why I think it.
I'll try and formulate mine as well. I feel like it'd be good to have a nice setback. Stand.
Yeah, and this is, before I end here, this is, and I would love to give some other people's opinions, because I've really read this guy Johnny P's, right? And he's obviously pro, you know, get rid of dislike, right? But let's read some other people's opinions, okay? And they're very interesting because it kind of makes you think differently, all right? So this guy here by the name of Ethan Campbell, or eCamp777 on Twitter, he put, heavily disagree. That's what the comment section is for. The dislike is a separate thing that determines to other viewers the ratio of how many people like or how many people did or didn't like the video. Helps a lot to prevent clickbait and other scam-like content. Very true. Another person called Late or Lateness, they tweet out, this guy got a lot of hate, again, just to reiterate, right? And I don't think it was like he really deserved the hate, but some of his wording was pretty poor, I would have to admit. But this person, Latte, excuse me, in fact, they tweet out saying, LMAO, what the fuck is a troll mechanic, question mark. Dislikes are the only way to weed out scam videos, but it is also weed out videos with harmful material / messages that might be disguised as good. Yes, I agree, feedback is important, but they shouldn't completely remove the dislike button, and I think that's an amazing take to have on that. The next person, Frosted Milky Way, love the name, and they tweet out by saying, nobody is obligated to tell you why they disliked it. If for any reason there are dislikes, the the onus, I don't know what he means by onus there, is on you. I'm guessing it's on you to figure out why. And if you don't like that, stop making videos. Another person here said if that's the case, they could just make it so when one clicks dislike, there's an option to direct what the reason was for, like the audio/video, the content itself, or anything else. But they rather hide the dislikes or dissatisfaction than help work/solve them. I know it's just a weird way they wrote the comments, but yeah, I think it's very interesting. I definitely like the concept, I think, of not removing the dislike button, but maybe bringing it back, keeping the counter, but maybe adjusting it to maybe where when you do dislike, only when you dislike though, when you do dislike, it gives you an option as to like what we were saying there a minute ago. It's like, okay, 1 to 5 stars, but it gives you an option. It's maybe like some automatic things as to why you disliked it. Was it the audio? Was it the music? Like audio would be music, but was it the audio, the quality, the commentator themselves, or like what was it? And you can maybe another option where you can put other, and then you can actually manually type in a specific option, but it's not mandatory. It's just there's an option that pops up, so you get presented with it. I think it'd be an interesting way to kind of make everybody happy. Content creators get the option, and hopefully they get more feedback as to why people dislike the video. And then also, of course, the viewers don't have to exactly not see dislikes, or they don't have to obviously lose dislikes in general. I think it'd be an interesting premise.
I was going to try and think of something. I don't want to agree with you, but I completely agree with you. Is the whole like I like the idea of having absolute yeses and absolute no's, because without the other one becomes, kind of redundant.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the whole, if you click a like or click a dislike, it will like and dislike the video as per usual.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think next to it would be like, hey, would you like to tell us why? And it has like a little like pop-up thing that says the audio, etc.
Yeah, like a little subsection. Yeah,
like
other. Yeah, exactly. And I think that'd be awesome. Like say like
go-
could have scams or something. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. When as the creator receives this feedback, there could be a thing within YouTube Studio that says like, here are your ratings. So you go to likes and dislikes, and then say on dislikes it's like, oh, see what people didn't like, or see what like YouTube would phrase it as, what can you improve on? It would have a drop box, and then it'd have all the responses, and you could reply to them, and then they'd get an email, and you could also just take it into account and use it as a way to have that constructive criticism in a way that isn't incredibly invalidating of the whole system.
But it's funny that you say this, because this is exactly what I'm thinking as well. And YouTube is, you know what's crazy about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that YouTube is already doing this. Like, this is something that can easily be implemented. Let me just show you all, or not show you, but tell you all something that I just noticed today that got implemented, which was a brand new membership section on the community tab, or on the YouTube Studio, excuse me. So obviously for myself, I have members because I'm monetized and whatnot. And let me read you all what's happening right now. This is a new thing, right? So normally when you had memberships on YouTube, when you checked your metrics to see how many members you had, it would just tell you how many members you have, how many members have joined this month, how much you've earned, etc., right? But now it gets a little bit more specific, and I like this. Let me just tell you, right? So it tells you your revenue, your total members, and the percentage that you've gained or lost this month compared to last month, etc. Members gained this month, etc. But it also tells you your cancellations, which is people that have cancelled their memberships. But on top of that, right, and this is what I love here, it told me this today, I was shocked to see it, but I was interested. It tells you, right, that people, when they cancel the membership, they can leave an option from a little sub-down menu, like what Joseph's saying, like what I'm saying, and it can like give them an option as to, okay, why are you canceling? It's like Amazon Prime. Why are you canceling your Prime subscription? Is there a reason? Can you tell us so we can work on it? Right here it says one of the reasons from only one person from the 19 cancellations I got as to why they canceled their memberships over this period of the past 30 days was, of these reasons, or of these users, one of these users responded to the optional exit survey and chose 100% perks not delivered by the creator, which is an interesting way of doing it, because it tells you, okay, now I know why people are not being member. Like, I know why you've stopped being a member to the channel. It's because you didn't get your perks. Okay, like I understand that. I genuinely do. Like, okay, now I can make sure to give everybody their perks and kind of work on that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're talking about. I think that's a great way of doing it, because you're giving the content creator feedback, but you're not having to waste your own time. It's an extra 2 clicks or an extra click. You know, it's not a big thing unless you really want to give them more constructive feedback as to, okay, like say, when you click this sub down menu, like for when, again, if you dislike, right, it comes up, was it audio, was it video, was it was it the content creator themselves, was it the quality, was it is this video like a scam or harassment, or what, so whatever, something like that. Yeah, are they Scottish? But like, no, but like, and it comes up all that, but then but in the other section, say it's something like, okay, it was the intro or outro, it was too loud or it was too annoying, okay, we'll put in other, the intro and outro was trash, get better, you know what I'm saying, like whatever. And like, it's a really good way of being able to give the feedback that is necessary, but again, not have to waste your own time or spend hours doing it. I think that's awesome. I think it's something we could definitely use. So I don't know.
Cool feature. I'm actually very surprised that YouTube has just jumped the gun and said, "Hey, we're removing dislikes." Like, now that I've sat down and properly thought about it, it does feel really not like YouTube. Well, I mean, actually, bullshit. But like,
YouTube makes the platform worse every year.
You know, it's just.
It seems like a big decision.
When they originally changed the chat to the way it is now on mobile, that made me so angry.
Yeah, it sucked.
It's so spontaneous on their part.
Well, that's it, and you're right. It was quite spontaneous, and it's the fact that so far everybody's given them criticism. I think you've got these two different sides of people that are like, "Hey, but it's getting used again," and I hate to use this word, but as a troll mechanic, right? Which is to some extent right, because people do use the troll. But then you've got this other set of people that are going, "Yeah, that might be true, but it's also used as a way to weed out the scams and the lies and all the fake tutorials or whatever, and not to waste time." Like, this is why it's a valuable video. Like, say you're watching a video on how to fix your car, right? And the tutorial actually is really badly done, or the person who tells you what to do actually is teaching you how to brake your car, right?
The dislikes tell you how to fix your whole car is kind of,
yeah.
You know,
okay, let's say how to fix the engine for a Volkswagen Golf, right? Let's say just specific, right? Let's get specific. You watch a tutorial, but the guy does the tutorial tells you to do the wrong thing, and you've not got any prior knowledge as to how to fix a car or an engine. So you watch it and you end up breaking, your engine, or you end up, destroying the engine. The point is, the dislikes were there to be able to tell you, like, hold on a second, before you go any further, this could be a bit of a scam. Watch out. There's a reason why this got so many dislikes. You know what I mean? Be sure not to do it. And that was a good thing about it. But without that, now people are going to end up probably, destroying some engines. They're going to end up making some mistakes. They're going to end up falling for some scams. And I know that's the thing. I think YouTube really needs to step back and go, hold on a second, add the dislike button back, but make it so that when they dislike, they don't have to, but they get an optional little sub-menu that pops up that says, why did you dislike? And you can be a little bit more specific as to the reasons, and hopefully that gives the content creators the feedback that they need to be able to work and making better content. And obviously, of course, it lets you be happy by knowing, obviously, if a video is fake or if it's not. I think it's an interesting take to have on it.
I don't know really what else to say. Like, I feel like we've kind of nailed every single aspect of it. It comes to the point where the individual thinking about the topic is the only one that can really come to a valuable, like, conclusion. Yeah, no, it feels, like I said, very situational. It was a spontaneous act on YouTube's behalf. And I can't wait to see if anyone's going to actually speak about this in the comments, because I feel like it's a very interesting take to have, and I feel like having two of us here is obviously going to be very biased, but it's a conversation between two people, so of course it's going to be. But honestly, anyone in the comments right now or after you've watched the full thing, just please let us know what you think about the whole dislike saga thing, because it's something I feel like would be really interesting to read about, and I feel like the more you take in from each individual points from different types of people with different backgrounds within the platform, the more you can start to formulate your opinion on it.
Or an opinion that's
where you do kind of need a broader bit of knowledge to like actually have a proper say on it that isn't incredibly like, oh, I'm not actually thinking fully into this.
Well, that's how, like, I'm trying not to think with my own self in mind. Like, obviously inherently as someone who has been, I wouldn't say harassed harassing is a big word, but I would say, it could be the right word. I've been harassed in the comment section, or not comment section, I've been harassed, like, via dislikes. When I've had people come into my streams that have had an issue with me, maybe because they couldn't get in the game for free, or maybe because they just didn't like me, or they couldn't say something that, is blacklisted, right? So they went and they dislike bombed the video, and that sucks. It really, truly does. But although I do personally dislike that, as a content creator, I've got to learn to be able to go, you know what, a second, hold on. They're giving me interaction, they're helping me, regardless of if it's a like or a dislike. I can explain to people that this is botted, or this is somebody right now just trying to mass dislike, or if there is genuinely got valid reason as to why they're disliking, then I should accept it and just try and make the next video better and see if they stop doing it. And that's what it is, kind of take the criticism and strive with it. Because at the end of the day, I think just outright trying to remove all the criticism or trying to hide the content creators from their imperfections or their flaws, it's dumb. Because
I should have changed and built off the premise of feedback and not completely removed it, because I feel like that's just it's not going to cause them as much positive feedback, or that's not what I meant to say, but it's not going to bring as many positive like aspects back. I feel like it's an overly negative thing when it comes to the platform's interaction.
Yeah, I think dislikes and likes are very important to the platform, and I think it is kind of one of those things where, and I love the comments that say this because I can't really disagree with them, right? But I can, but I can't, because they do have a valid reason to an extent. It's where people say, oh, but if dislikes aren't, if dislikes aren't helpful because, they don't tell you, or excuse me, if dislikes aren't helpful because they don't specifically tell you what was wrong with the video, then likes aren't helpful because they don't tell you specifically what was good with the video. And it's kind of like, likes are, they don't have to be as specific with likes. If you like a video, it's you like the video. You don't have to tell them what you like about it unless you want to, and that's what the comment section's for. But in the same vein, you could say the same about the dislikes. So the dislikes, you don't have to tell them why you disliked the video. If you disliked it, you disliked it. It's an emotion, right? You don't have to say why, but if you want, the comment section's there. So it's a really kind of like, I don't know where I really want to stand with this. I think I've got to, undoubtedly, I'd say from my opinion, I don't know about Joseph's fully a year, but I've got to say, I think they should add dislikes back, and I think that them doing this was a mistake, but I think they're on the right course. I think they had the right motives behind it as to trying to stop people from getting malicious hate and stop getting, harassment. But at the same extent, it's like hiding the sub counts. That was a big kind of mess up that they made, or making sub counts not be specific anymore. Like back in the day, Joseph, you remember, you could use sites like, what was it called? It was like the sites you could watch sub counts on. You know what I mean? Like live, right?
Oh,
the live sub counts. Yeah. Like they stopped that because people like James Charles and whatnot, people were watching that, people were doing live streams of their sub counts, and then as you were losing thousands upon thousands of subs. Same with Drama Alert, I'm trying to think who else really. Leafy here, Drama Alert, PewDiePie, etc. When all like the T-series thing, the live sub counts was a big thing, but then they removed that and made it so that sub counts aren't specific anymore, so you can't see the exact number unless you're the actual YouTuber. You can see it in your studio dashboard.
I would admit, I feel like that was a bit more of a valuable change though, because there are a lot of people that will like mass unsub
to see it go down.
Like it. So that kind of I feel like I'm a lot more stable in my stand when it comes to that sort of thing. Because I agree. Like, I'm glad they did. Obviously, I myself used to use the live sub counts all the time just to keep track, and I think that was nice. But it was also very demotivating. The stuff with dislikes, you can change a dislike, you can't change an unsub. So
no, that's exactly it. Yeah, and it's that's the thing as well. Like, and you're definitely right though. I think it is one of those things that YouTube did. They were right on. When people could see a live sub count, they were more like inclined to want to mess with you, and more inclined to want to unsub just to mess with you. Like for me, I have my live sub count on my YouTube actual streams, right? And the way I do this is by going to my YouTube studio, and then I crop it and I make it work, and it's really weird how it all works, right? But basically with that though, now that people can see my live sub count, I just recently had 55k subs, and there was somebody, I hit 55k honestly about 20 times.
You went to
because
54.
I don't know, was it? No, I went to 50. Well, that's it. I went to 55k. I hit 55k, and then they immediately unsubbed, and then resubbed, then unsubbed, then resubbed, then unsubbed, then unsubbed, and it was just a troll and just trying to get attention. And that's the point. People can do that, and that's why they removed it, which is smart. But dislikes are a much more important metric when it comes down to reading data for a video as to whether it was good or bad than subscribers. That's the thing. So it is really darn important that they actually keep dislikes. And I think someone else made a point up. We haven't brought this up here yet, and I want to say this before we end. And it was the point of like more people might stop being as trustworthy to smaller content creators because they can't tell if their videos are fake or not. Obviously, big established content creators have hundreds of thousands of hundreds of thousands of subs or millions of subs. You can kind of look at their tutorials and go, they won't be lying, that'll be legit. Clearly that's how they got this many subscribers. But those that are smaller, they might go, I don't want to take the chance, he could be lying, I don't know, like it might make people lose content.
Of this is TikTok.
Oh really?
They don't have a dislike button.
Wait, do they not? Oh no, no, they don't, do they? They just got like, right?
Just scroll on or like. So it kind of, it's not a flawed thing, I don't think. But
what?
Unless this is just YouTube trying to get close to TikTok with their shorts and having like a like-only thing.
It could, man. I mean, it very much could. I mean, shorts, YouTube shorts and TikTok, like YouTube is just trying to force shorts down everybody's throat. So I feel like dislikes getting removed. If that is the case, I mean, I wouldn't say outright that's why they're doing it, but I mean, I feel like I feel like when you put it like that, you go like, hold on a second, like this kind of is very eerily similar to TikTok. It kind of makes
sense, and it's not
yeah, and it's like I hope that isn't the case, because if that is the case, then their motives for doing it isn't anything but just trying to be more like TikTok and get more success. It's not about trying to help the content creators, which is really scummy. And I mean, put it realistically, YouTube never helps them. Sorry.
Oh no, never. It's just, but they I know they're a company and they kind of have to, but they are kind of looking at the whole like the trend in. I'm trying not to. Okay, so like fast fire content. I've always called it like ADHD content, but like it's like where it's just constant. I feel like they want that same sort of interaction. I don't know about you, but I've never sat there and scrolled through YouTube Shorts, like ever.
I've not really done. I've done it a couple times. I can't lie. It's like Instagram, I've done it, and on Snapchat, but I've done it a couple times. But definitely, like YouTube is they definitely are trying to milk kind of like you said, fast fire content. Was it?
Yeah, fast. Yeah, go with that one.
Yeah, fast fire content, but they're trying to really milk aspects from other platforms. Like, for example, they took the community tab, in my opinion, from Facebook, right? That was like where you could kind of like leave your things. They took the, you know, YouTube, what's it called? YouTube stories from Instagram stories, right? For example, or Snapchat stories, right? They took the ability to obviously do YouTube shorts directly from TikTok. You know what I mean? They're taking Twitch's ability to be able to raid content creators and be able to get gifted memberships from Twitch and using it on YouTube. Like YouTube does take like aspects of everything.
Of like social media.
And well, that's how they survive, right? Because it's in order to continue being one of the biggest platforms on YouTube or on YouTube, one of the biggest platforms on the internet for video content, they have to continuously update and evolve. And they're just taking aspects from everybody. Again, YouTube stories, Instagram, Snapchat, that's ours. Facebook community tabs, we'll take that. Oh, TikTok, you know, say shorts, we'll take that. You know, like every freaking aspect are just taken in and just making their own. And again, Twitch, you know, Twitch is the biggest streaming platform in the entire world for video streaming. YouTube is getting close to beating them. Like that's the only thing that YouTube doesn't have right now, the biggest streaming platform. They're not far from it. They're buying up content creators, getting them on their site. They're obviously, of course, adding, you know, gifting memberships, the ability to rate other streamers live on YouTube. Like that's insane. Better moderation tools. Like we spoke about this other episode with Rocky, of course. And it's like, that is insane. Like these are all aspects that they're taking away.
Then it's they are trying to become something they're not, and then neglecting the original aspects of what makes
of the
YouTube
original
the
people
best
that told them,
video sharing platform. It is becoming that point where it's like, oh, we'll be a bit like TikTok, we'll be a bit like Twitter, we'll be a bit like Instagram,
Snapchat,
you know, and it's deviating further from its original format to the point where the people who still like the original format are being punished in a sense for not evolving with like the new fast fire content.
I know, but I think you're 100% right. I mean, again, if you look at aspects of YouTube right now, YouTube at one point was like the thing that was setting, I guess, examples. It was like the platform that was, what would be the word? It was like, it was inspiring, and it was something that was new. Everything they had done was like breaking boundaries. It was brand new, right? But then now it's like, again, they've taken the community tab from, say, Twitter. They've taken polls from Twitter, sharing GIFs and videos from, you know, Facebook, etc. Put that in the community tab, right? They've taken, you know, again, Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, put that on YouTube with YouTube stories. You know, again, YouTube Shorts is legitimately just TikTok videos, but on YouTube, but up to 60 seconds. And it's like they've done so much, and they're continuously taking more and more and more and more and more. And I think disliking or removing the dislike button and whatnot, that aspect as well, it kind of, again, eerily is quite similar to what TikTok has, right? Like no dislike button. You know, Twitter doesn't have a downvote or anything like that, does it? You know what I mean? It's the same idea. Like they're taking aspects from other sites and going like, oh, this could actually work quite well for us. Let's actually try and put this in here. Let's see how this looks. And just trying to make their platform modernized or better for like hyper quick content for players or for viewers to get more views. And I mean, it's been successful. Like, I mean, YouTube Shorts is now like, I think even there's more YouTube Shorts getting uploaded every month than there is actual, I think, proper videos to the platform
like
now.
They overtook the amount of normal videos like a good month into being made?
Yeah, a good month, and that was millions, just millions of people making them every single day, back to back to back, hundreds of thousands, some deal, and people are growing from them, and they've directly manipulated the algorithm so that you have a reason to want to do shorts, because shorts get you more views inherently, or you have a much higher chance of success using YouTube Shorts. I mean, that's why we do it on the Forgotten Podcast Shorts, for example, perfect example, not to plug it, but it's the truth.
Catman
like
Shorts,
Catman Shorts,
they all exist because of that reason.
Yeah, I mean, if YouTube videos were like this, oh my god, like that would be insane. But no, that's not how it works. We gotta try and wheel in all the people from TikTok. We gotta try and get all these people from all these other platforms. We're gonna make ours better.
Is though that views on shorts are less valuable, are they not?
Yeah. Views on shorts are less valuable. You earn less money from them, and interactions normally from them are just a one-time wonder. You know, like if somebody watches your short, it doesn't mean they're going to subscribe, and if they do, it doesn't mean they're going to watch your content. I mean, we talked about this with Blue Room in the Blue Room episode 17. Perfect example, and it was just Blue even said that himself, like Blue knew it, like, you know, just because they watch the video it doesn't mean they're always going to subscribe and continue watching everything else you put out. In fact, they might sub, but they might unsub eventually as well, and you'll lose subscribers.
They might even just sub and never come back because you don't get,
and that's even worse.
For sure.
Yeah, you don't get any notifications either, and that's what's even worse. So it's an interesting debate. I'm really glad we had this conversation, really, because I think we've kind of hit the nail on the head with exactly how we feel about this, and also, of course, talking about YouTube dislikes getting removed and whatnot, that kind of stuff. I think it's a very interesting premise to take this with. 100%.
Yeah, no, I just feel like it's something that people need to like talk about and realize if it's a good or a bad thing, personally to them. Because, it is just where you stand, and I don't think it's one of those things as well. I just don't feel like we'll ever come to a actual perfect agreement.
No,
because people obviously vary, just on how they think about things and stuff. So I just feel like overall, it's gonna be a grey area, pretty much.
That's it. I guess. we'll have to wait and see where the sad part. We're gonna have to just wait and see where the platform goes. And I really do hope that, to some extent, because of the backlash from so many people, that YouTube really does reconsider this option. As of right now, it hasn't fully rolled out to everybody. I mean, my videos and some other videos that I've seen still do have the dislike button, but I mean, that's going to be a figment of the past eventually, and that's kind of sad to think, because the dislike button is something that I've grown up with, obviously, on YouTube, and it's something that I think is quite an important. It is quite an important metric. Whether I like getting dislikes or not, I don't. But at the end of the day, it is an important metric that does help you. It does help kind of tell people before they watch the video whether it's fake or it's real. And then removing it is it's a big mistake, I think, honestly and openly. So here's hoping we can see something different happen. Here's hoping YouTube come and they actually change it. But yeah, I think that's what's really touching on the entire topic. What do you think, Joseph?
No, I agree. I think that's pretty much that overall. And I do want to quickly urge everyone watching as well to leave a like. And if you didn't like something, leave a like anyway, but tell us why.
Yes, okay? Yes, because leaving a dislike is redundant now. So just leave a like. Give us a like.
If you hate us, we don't care. We can't see that. You are easily manipulated. We are literally the new overlords of YouTube. It's fine.
That's what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, we really did hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. This was a green rated episode, our first proper actual official green rated episode, which was really cool. Both Joseph and myself started off with some really lovely blades, and obviously Joseph's got his face cam to return back with and whatnot, so it's all good. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video right now, guys, or this podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, that is, please be sure to drop a like. If you're listening elsewhere on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, come check out our YouTube channel. We have face cams on. You guys can get a lot more interaction from us, obviously, of course. We also have knives, so don't make us hurt you. But legitimately, guys, we really hope you enjoyed this episode. We got some great episodes planned out. I think Joseph and myself can both say it without spoiling anything. Some amazing episodes planned out for the next upcoming episodes, including for episode 25, a much larger guest on the channel. It'll be our first purple rated episode of this season. So guys, be sure to be ready for it. It's gonna be incredible, and we can't wait for you guys to see it. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Forgotten Podcast. Again, if you liked, please be sure to drop a like. If you want to subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated as well. And leave us a comment, letting us know who you guys would like to see in the show next, or what you thought.
Can't not like it, so
exactly, yeah. So it's redundant. You know what I'm saying? Take that L. You know what I'm saying? But guys, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next episode of the Forgotten Podcast, and yeah, everybody, peace out.